Welcome to the Breakthrough Challenge. This is Dr. Mogire from the House of Mastery. Today is day 22. Day 22. We've been here almost a month. In 8 days, we will clock 30 days. We've covered a lot of subjects. I wanted us to continue the conversation about goals and include in our conversation today habits, routines, and choices. So I was just thinking about how we choose and the the three categories of choices which we tend to make that can keep us stuck or held behind. The three categories of choices that most of the time keep us behind. So if you thought about your own life and the lives of the people around you, what patterns of choices are you likely to see? And I'm going to share with you three right now, and then we will have a conversation and see how these influence our choices and how they influence our habits, our routines, and of course, what that means when it comes to the reflections about whether or not we have a good chance of reaching the goals we are trying to reach. So there are three categories of choices that keep us stuck. Three categories of choices that keep us stuck. In other words, three categories of choices that sabotage the likelihood of achieving our goals. The first category is choices of least resistance. Choice of least resistance. Choosing the least resistance pathway. So if you were voting, this would be an equivalent of a wasted vote, because you have a vote that is valid, that could change things, but that vote does not make any difference. Choosing the path of least resistance. How many times in our lives do we choose the path of least resistance? Because you see, once you use the word choice, it implies freedom. The word choice implies freedom, that it is not forced on you. You have opted for this option because when you speak about choice, you imply freedom. When you speak about choice, you imply options. So you have the freedom to choose and you have options to choose from. So when you choose the path of least resistance, you are choosing the path that requires as little as possible from you in terms of effort, very little self-awareness, very little thinking, very little change, almost zero change from your end. And you know, the most common place or the most common part of our life in which we make so many choices of least resistance, it's in the use of our attention. Where our attention goes, we pay attention to things that require zero effort from our end. So for example, that's why it's very easy to sit down and just watch news or sit down and watch a series for the whole weekend. Sit down and get on Facebook on the laptop. When you're tired with the laptop, you come to the small internet on the phone to see whether the story on the laptop is the same on the phone. Those are all choices of least resistance. When I set an alarm to wake up in the morning and the alarm goes off, and I snooze today, tomorrow, the next 1 month, I am choosing the path of least resistance. No matter how grand your goals are, if you habitually make the choice of least resistance, you are never going to move. You will flow like a river downhill. You never grow upward because everything uphill requires resistance. Everything uphill requires friction. Remember when we wrote our names first with the left hand, with the non-dominant hand for everyone, but for most people with the left hand, and then you wrote it with the right hand. When you write it with the right hand, there is hardly any resistance because you've done this over and over. It's become habitual. But when you write it with your left hand, it is uncomfortable, it is slow, the final product is messy. You don't want to show it. This is what our new goals look like. We have a new goal, but we are uncomfortable people seeing that new goal or people hearing about the new goal, because the new goal, it's not pretty. It's just like when you wrote your name with non-dominant hand. The goal is not, it's not ready to be seen. So when you choose the path of least resistance, you are free, but this is an uncomfortable word. You are free, but you are ignorant. And you're ignorant, not because you don't know, but you are ignoring. That's what the source of the word ignorant. You are ignoring, whether you are doing it consciously or subconsciously, you are ignoring the cumulative effect of the choices that you are making. You are ignoring the result 10 years from today of losing an hour here and an hour there and a weekend here, a weekend there. Instead of this, the time you have, the energy you have accumulating to something you want, someday you will look at what you have and you're like, this is not what I wanted. But it's because you unwittingly ignored. So when we speak of ourselves as ignorant, for example, I'm very ignorant when it comes to jets and airplanes because I do not know enough about how they operate. When it comes to rockets, I am totally ignorant. I do not know what happens there. So I can't predict what the results are going to be if this decision is made instead of this decision. So when we do not develop continuing awareness about what we are accumulating in our own life, essentially we are operating as though we know nothing about what is going to come. And that for me would be the worst place to find myself when I'm 65. That I spent an equivalent of 20 years just scrolling social media. I spent an equivalent of 10 years just watching entertainment TV. It's important for me to be entertained, but when it becomes a goal, this weekend, I'm going to watch that series. And that happens this weekend, happens the next weekend, happens the next weekend. If I'm accumulating those chunks of time and they're just slipping by like a river, slipping downward, there's a good chance that no matter how grand my goals are, I am not going to get there. This is an uncomfortable subject, but I need to hear it. And so I'm sharing it with you also. The choices that lead to the path of least resistance. In which areas are you making choices that are leading you to the path of least resistance? The second choice, the second category of choices, these are choices out of fear. Choice out of fear. Choice out of fear. When you choose the path of least resistance, you are free. You are free, but the word we use there, if you accepted it, is ignorant. By ignorant, it's not that you're stupid. It's just that you're acting in a way that you will look back and say, what was I thinking? That is the path of least resistance. When it comes to choices out of fear, right? You are not free. You are not free, and it's not because somebody has not given you the freedom. It's most of the time it's because you have not given yourself the freedom. Every time you choose out of fear, sometimes we subconsciously think that we are free, but the way we are living in that moment, the way we are responding, the way we are thinking of the decisions in our hands, it carries every element of somebody who is not free. You do not feel free enough to take a risk. You do not feel free enough to venture into an area that you've never ventured before. When you choose the path of least resistance, you are free, but you are ignoring where this will lead. You set the alarm and you are free to wake up when the alarm goes off, but you don't, right? When you choose out of fear, you are not free. You do not even feel free enough to set the alarm. You have already bought into the idea that I will not even wake up. So you don't even set the alarm. When you choose out of fear, you need to go deliver a speech or make a sales presentation, but you've sold it to yourself that nobody will buy from you. So you are afraid that you will fail. So you don't even make the choice. You don't even take the action. You don't even take the risk. This is the second type of wasted voice or wasted vote. If you are voting for yourself, this will be another wasted vote. You have the vote. You can vote for yourself, but you do not even think that you're free to vote for whoever you want. And in this case, you're not even voting for yourself. And this is all types of fears. So fear of failure. When you choose out of the fear of failure, you are not free. In other words, you are not free to succeed. You have convinced yourself that I am not free to be brilliant. I am not free to excel. I am not free to stand out from this crowd. When you choose out of fear of rejection, you have agreed with yourself that I am not free to step away from these people. I'm not free to to decide my own pathway, no matter what they are going to say or think. When you choose out of fear, you are not free from people's opinions. You've decided that the opinion is going to determine what you do. So 100% you are bound by their opinions, and you are choosing out of fear of their opinion, out of fear of their criticism, out of fear of what they will say, out of fear of being isolated. When this is the worst bit about choosing out of fear. When you choose out of fear, you choose what you don't want in place of what you need. When you choose out of fear, you choose what you don't want instead of choosing what you need, instead of choosing what will take you where you need to go. Remember, when you choose the path of least resistance, you are free, but you are ignorant. And remember, we said ignorant, ignoring the eventual consequences. When you choose out of fear, you are knowledgeable, but you're not free. You are knowledgeable. You know what you need to do. You even know where this might lead. Eventually, you know that if you don't show up to make the sales presentation, you will not sell. You know that if you don't take that course, you will not have better opportunities to advance. You are knowledgeable, you know, but you are not free. And this is the eventual outcome is always frustration. You end up frustrated. You know what you need to do, but you're not doing it. You end up with less self-respect and self-esteem, self-confidence than you deserve. You will never respect yourself the way you could if you are not doing what you know you should be doing. Because we waste our time, we waste our energy and our attention worrying about whether or not people respect us. The easiest question to start with is, do I respect myself the way I deserve? Do I truly respect myself? If I was giving somebody something to do for me and I had the choice of anyone, would I choose myself because I know that I will deliver? Would I choose myself? If you have something important to be done in your life, would you choose you? You have an assignment to be done in your life. Would you assign it to you? You needed somebody, the best person to manage your life. Someone who will deliver the results on time, someone who will hold you accountable to grow, somebody who will make sure you learn what you need to learn. And you had the choice of hiring anyone in this world. Would you hire you? Would you hire you? If the way you are living your life right now, right? If you are paying, if you wanted to pay you wanted to pay somebody, a salary for doing an amazing job, the way you are operating right now, right? In terms of productivity, forget about intention, because sometimes we get caught up in intention. What do I intend to do? What do I desire to do? What am I preparing to do? That doesn't count. What counts is results. If you were to be paid, if you were to pay yourself based on your results, would you pay yourself the amount of money you desire, or would you end up paying yourself way less than you think you deserve? I think these are practical questions to ask ourselves. And these are the questions I keep asking myself, which keep me up. They keep me up because I realize that every time I think about somebody who would manage my discipline, that I might not be the first choice to manage my discipline. I'm seeing that maybe there might be somebody else out there who would manage my discipline better, who would manage my attention better, who would manage my time better. And that means I always have a gap that I need to grow into. Are you choosing out of ease, choosing the path of least resistance? Or are you choosing out of fear, choosing what you don't want at the expense of what you need? So that in the end, you find yourself with an accumulated month, years, or even decades of what you don't want, and yet what you needed was available. And I think this is the biggest regret in life, right? To reach 65 or 70 and realize that what you wanted, what you needed, is no longer within reach. Right now, what you want, what you need is within reach. And you have the choice to reach out for it, or to shrink out of fear, or to lie down out of following the path of least resistance until the day comes when what you want, what you need, is no longer within reach. Because the knowing and the wanting never go away. You knowing what you want never goes away. You wanting what you need never goes away. Those last with you forever, for as long as you are alive. What goes away is the opportunity whether you can or cannot reach it. And a day comes when some things that you need, that you could do today, are beyond reach. Whether it is spending time with your family, your parents, your siblings, whether it is spending time with your children, whether it is you becoming more disciplined and starting to read what you need to read, starting to study what you need to study, starting to clean up your physical environment habitually until it becomes part of your identity, starting to let go of people's negative opinions, starting to unwind some of your thoughts about the wounds and trauma you suffered before, so that truly you can begin to move into a new realm. Those are the first two choices: choosing out of the path, out of ease, choosing the path of least resistance. The second one, choosing out of fear. The third one, the third way in which we tend to choose is choice of the familiar. Choice of the familiar, or choice of the comfortable. Choice of the familiar. When you choose the familiar, you are choosing out of knowledge, you are choosing out of freedom, but you are choosing less than you deserve. You're choosing less than you deserve. You are choosing what less than you want. You are choosing less than you're capable of. You are doing less than you could, going a distance much shorter than you could, staying for shorter than you could, quitting sooner than you should. You are delivering much less. You are viewing yourself much less than you are worth. You are showing up 10, 15 ranks below what you are capable of. You are utilizing only a tiny bit of your capabilities. Choosing the path of least resistance, choosing out of fear, choosing the comfortable. It keeps you within what you know, but it does not move you to what you need. It keeps you busy, but not productive. It causes you to confuse movement with achievement. And sometimes we confuse achievement with accomplishment. When you achieve, we can achieve. I mean, if right now I can set a goal and achieve it. I can set a goal to walk outside this building and run around this building 15 times, right? I can set a goal to run around this building the whole day. At the end of the day, I will say, I achieved my goal. But what is the meaning of that specific goal? And that's the familiar. When you choose the familiar, you choose activity over outcome. You choose activity because you are able to measure what you are doing. You are able to measure what you are doing. You are comfortable doing it because it's within what you have always done. When you choose the comfortable, you lock out of your reach new opportunities. You lock out of your reach new environments that will force you to start learning differently, start behaving differently, start showing up differently, start thinking of your energy, of your attention, of your resources, of your networks differently. It keeps you pursuing the same goals you had in 2015 and 2016 and 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and 2020. And from here, you continue with 2021 and 2022 and 2023 and 2024. That is the familiar. It is the familiar because it keeps us stuck in the same spot. But because we are continually moving, because we are continually active, we think we are progressing. Because we are continually moving, we think we are accomplishing. I keep saying that choosing the comfortable increases the volume without increasing the value. It increases the volume of your actions, the volume of your results, the volume of your to-do lists. It increases this volume, but if you, at the end of the day, you squeeze that volume down to see what juice you get, what value you can get out of it, there is very little value. And the easiest way in which we choose the comfortable, the familiar, is making choices which are not driven by goals. Our brain is very funny. Your brain is automatic. When you wake up in the morning, the brain is on it's ready. It's saying on to your marks, ready, set. Do you know what it's ready and set to launch? It's ready to set yesterday's history. You wake up and the first thing you are on is WhatsApp. You look at WhatsApp, you look at Facebook, right? You look at your house, which it looks exactly the same way it looked June last year. So in those first 5 to 10 minutes, your brain is confirming that we are in the same place. Are we in the same place? Oh, okay. Are we in the same place? Are we in the same environment? Or is our WhatsApp still working? Is our Facebook still working? If you log on, if you reach for your phone and it's off, the first thing is to connect that phone so that it charges. You open because your brain is like, we haven't seen WhatsApp. We haven't seen any stories. What are people onto? Your brain wants to launch yesterday. Your brain wants to launch last week. Your brain is not has you have not trained yourself to launch today, to wake up in the morning with an intentional mindset that this is a new day. I am going to launch a new mindset this moment. Within those first 5 minutes of you waking up, your brain is running a program. It's running an automatic program where you slept yesterday because you were angry or disappointed, right? You wake up disappointed, but during your dreams at night, sometimes you're not experiencing that disappointment. But once you wake up, your brain fires your internal computer on so that you activate yesterday's memories, you activate yesterday's emotions. And then you look at the environment, you absorb the environment, you are in the same bed you are in, yes, you got into yesterday. So your brain essentially fires. It's like, ready, go, launch what happened yesterday. Where did we stop yesterday? Where did we stop yesterday? So we are carrying yesterday's time. We are carrying last week's time. We are carrying February. I keep hearing people say in February before Corona started, and it's a very natural thing to say, and that's how we are wired. But February is not coming. Any decisions we are making now, yet what we learned in February is important, but every decision we are making now has nothing to do with February. February is just a memory. It's a memory. The same way tomorrow is just a vision or a dream. What are we doing now that is changing things? And so there you have them, the three choices. Choose out of ease, choosing the path of least resistance, choosing out of fear. In other words, choosing what you don't want. You're not free even to choose where you want to go, and choosing what is comfortable. The question is, to what extent are your goals, your vision, your habits, your routines influenced by this? And which of these patterns do you see replicating itself in your life? I wanted to reiterate again today that, guys, if all we do during this breakthrough challenge is show up and discuss a topic and go away, and we come back, show up and discuss another topic and go away, we might as well just show up here and I find a good series and we say we'll be watching this series every day for 1 hour, and we watch that series, entertain ourselves and go away. Guys, today we have clocked 22 hours. 22 hours. That's enough to earn a university certificate. That's a university certificate. The question is, has there been movement enough inside me that is equivalent to a university certificate? We are doing this, my intention is to do this for 90 hours. 90 days, so that's 90 hours because we are essentially doing it an hour every day. 90 hours is equivalent to an associate degree, which is a bachelor's degree. In other words, the amount of learning going on, it's like there's just so much information we are sharing every day. This is, if you look at the curriculum that I drew up that I'm following, I've had to move a few things here and there, but the total curriculum itself, it's equivalent to any degree, the amount of material that we have to cover. The question is, what are we doing with this material? Which is why I'm going to make some changes. Once we clock the first 30 days, I'm going to make some drastic changes, because if knowledge is at the center of what we are doing, it's going to be just another, I would hate it for you to walk this journey with me for 60 days and your life looks exactly the way it did at the beginning. That is not what I want. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for you. Everywhere I am right now, I am very deliberate. I've read this book probably the 6th time. This is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Maxwell, by Steve Covey. And you know that a book is important if it's in if I bought the hard cover, because I want to mark this book, I want to make it mine, I want to stay with it. You know that something is important for me if I've created a file for it, right? It's this is real life. 65 is TikTok. I was checking yesterday, I think it's now 8,029 days to 65 for me. 8,065 days. I've already lived 13,000 years, days. I've lived 13,000 days. How many days have you lived? And how many days is it for you from here until 65? In fact, the question is, remember I said yesterday, you don't have 24 hours a day. You only have the hours you use. You don't have 7 days a week. You only have the days you use. So if you do your calculation, your age now to 65, and see how many days there are. Now, the question to you is, how many of these days are you ready to waste so that then you can remain with the ones you will use? How many of these days are you okay to waste? Is it half of those days? Because if you look at, it's very easy. If you look at your day, you have 24 hours, right? Look at your day and count how many hours in the day are productive. How many hours in the day are productive? If you are productive for 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours, right? Or 6, if you are really, really amazing, 7. If you're productive for 7 hours, right? How many days does it, so let's say you are productive 8 hours. How many days do you need to accumulate 24 hours of productivity? 3, right? Which means in a week, you're going to, in 6 days, you're going to accumulate an equivalent of 2 days of productivity. In other words, from every week, you are getting approximately 2 days worth of productivity. And that is if you're productive 8 hours a day, 8 hours. But what if you're productive 3 hours a day? It means you're going to require up to 10 days, 10 days for you to get 1 day equivalent of productivity. So that when you look at 8,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 days between now and 65, if you actually calculate, you will find that maybe you have 800 days. You have 1,200 days between now and 65, right? If we did what we are doing now, if you did this every day, we've been meeting for 1 hour every day. If you met with yourself 1 hour every day, at the end of 1 year, you have been meeting with yourself for 360 hours. 360 hours, you can have earned 4 master's degrees. 4 master's degrees. But now imagine this is 4 internal master's degrees. You have a master's in personal discipline. You have a master's in consistency. Just all that by itself, your life will, there is no way your life then at the end of 1 year would be the same as your life now. So I'm going to cut it there so that we can now have a conversation. Are you choosing out of ease, choosing the path of least resistance? Are you choosing out of fear, choosing what you don't want at the expense of what you need? Or are you choosing the path of least resistance, choosing to show up less than you are capable of, choosing to do less than you can, giving up sooner than you should, quitting too frequently, setting up goals and not following through? So I'm going to open the conversation. Today we have Brainy, Judith, Victor, James, Peter, and Elena. Of course, the first question is, did you write your goals today, and what new goals came up for you? Did anything new come up? Brainy, I see you've unmuted, so you can go first.
Okay, all right. Thank you for taking your time to really help us on this. And then yeah, when I was writing down my goals this morning, few things came up. Three things was one was to take time off social media. I mean, I do take off time social media, but I also realize like at times I can get myself staying so much on social media for like an hour when I could use that time to invest into something else. And thank you so much for telling us writing down these goals because it works. One of my goals was to seeing a therapist in the next 1 year, but I just started seeing a therapist today.
Wow.
And I took off. So yes, so thank you. And then about talking about the choices that keep us stuck, one of the thing I struggled with was a choice of familiar. No, choice out of fear, and this came with the relationship. Because I'll rather keep low vibrating people just to to be contented and know do what I'm supposed to do. And then also when it comes to terms of like finding a job, I'd rather just get a job, get money to go by when rather than just figuring out what my skills are so I can use that in work on it. Because
Yeah.
I was afraid of not being enough, and I was afraid of what if I do it and I fail. But having taken this session for like the last 22 days,
Yeah.
it has really made me to be so disciplined. Because for the previous day I was feeling so down, like stressed up. Then I asked myself, why am I really like staying in this situation so much, focusing on what's happening when I could use this time? I know it's happening, that's fine, I don't have control on it, but I can shift my mind and do something else.
That's right.
And yeah, like I feel like you just came in at the right time in my life where I was somewhere in a hole, and you came in and dragged me out of that. That's why I'm in my life right now. So I'm truly grateful about this. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share about today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Brainy. Thank you, Brainy. Judith, have you written your goals? Did any new goal come up? What's your reflection about what he just shared?
So I will report from yesterday.
Okay.
So I wrote my goals, and I don't have anything new that came up, but there was a way in which I kind of put the exact times of the activities that I had indicated, like I need to do this for like 1 hour or something. So I put into like the exact time that I knew this can happen.
Yes.
And for some, I started implementing, and I think it really helps, like in achieving what you really want to do. And for walking, I actually changed to, so I Googled like an exercise in YouTube that I can just do it at the comfort of my house, because I know we're going to the days when it will be very cold and I may not be able to take the walk. So I substituted that to a 30 minutes exercise in the house, and I started doing it yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think writing down is really good, because now my mind is asking me, I need to do R. So what is my next step?
I love that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for asking us to put into writing our goals, because as much as you may not want to do anything, it keeps bothering you because it's already written down and you're doing it. Like every time you remember that I need to do this. Then for today, from today's lesson, I think what is bothering me is choice of familiar or comfortable. So I'll put it this way. So when I moved to the US, I actually remained with my previous employer.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I feel more comfortable and at peace there, as much as it's not like an area where I might grow further, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think I could explore like more opportunities and other areas of growth, but I always feel like I am safe with the person that I have been working for. So that is something that I just need to see if this is truly what I really want, and if it gives me an opportunity to be what I want to, or I need to explore other options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love your reflections. Yes. So for the rest of you, those who are not familiar with the software she's speaking about, our program, it's a statistics analysis program, and it's one of the goals she wants to achieve this year. And so she's complaining, no reporting that her brain can't let her go. And that's the power of writing down your goals. Your brain picks them up, and your brain is like, oh, by the way, we need to. The same way when you intend to call somebody back, right? When you see that person coming from a distance, you're like, oh, damn, I didn't call them back. So when you write your goals in the morning, that's exactly what is happening. It's like that person is approaching you. So you increase the chances. Writing your goals increases the likelihood of accomplishing those goals by at least 50%. It's that simple. By at least 50%. You start ticking off simple things and it gives you momentum. Right. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Brainy. Victor, did you write down your goals? Did anything new come up? What's your reflection about today's session?
Uh, yes, today I wrote my goals, and a new one came. Uh, this is creating new social connection. I have my friends since childhood. Those are still my friends.
Yeah.
It's like I've not been having new guys, new people. I think I'm losing a lot of opportunity without meeting different people. So that is a new goal, which I'm excited about. And then I remember you said about your goal should have skill and economics connected to it. So my focus kind of changed. It's part of my goal, but my focus changed on software development. I have to create my own mobile apps. Even some people have even told me to create some things, but I'm trying to find out time to do that. I've focused on chess, of which I am planning to make it an academy. So these
Yeah.
are my goals, but because of skill, passion, and economics, those are the ones I want to really focus on. And then the only educational company.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the things that I'm doing. And which other one? Oh, and the ones that I said are routine. I don't want them to be no longer, I don't want them to be a goal. I want it to be a lifelong, a lifestyle thing. I've been saying they're my goal, but I don't want to say they're my goal because I wanted to do them every day until the end of the world. I don't know.
What are you referring to?
The writing of goals, the first, what I did today morning, I
Mm.
wrote my goals.
Mm.
And then I did some exercises.
Mm-hmm.
I did meditation. There's some guy that I follow his idea of meditation. He's saying
Yeah.
it's 6-phase meditation. So I did that. And then I did programming, the one that I want to put more hours on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and you said something today that really touched me. You have the hours that you use. I always thought I have 24 hours.
Yeah. You don't.
That made me really think. Am I using my time very well? In these goals, are the hours that I use, are they productive towards these goals? So that is what has made me start thinking.
Yeah.
It looks like I've been wasting time, but now I think I'll consider that statement. It's really powerful. I like it. About the choices, the ones that I've been experiencing is the choice of least resistance. I don't know. I think it's connected to the familiar. You like doing the easy stuff, the things that you have been doing. And I think also that is one thing that is taking away my productivity. So I think I'm going to reduce part of the things that I'm doing. One of them is Facebook. I stopped watching TV. I don't know why I bought even TV. At least that's one goal that I achieved. So it's I'm going to reduce social media. And then choice of out of fear. Okay, this one used to happen, but I think I conquered this. I used to ask myself, what if it doesn't work? What if this person says this? What if were really making me not to decide? So I stopped asking myself what if. I said I made it more positive. I said, I could get that opportunity. He could give me a book. In fact, there's a certain book. Okay, very quickly. There's a certain book that was being sold on Amazon, and it was only available in India. I really liked it, and I didn't have the money. I didn't know how to get it. I found an email and wrote a message to the guy. I told him, hey, send me this book. I really need it. I like it. I think it will help me. He gave me the original copy of that book, and I felt good to say, oh, if I would not have asked, I would not have gotten the book.
Yeah.
So today, I don't ask myself for if I want it. If he says no, okay, that's okay. That's an feedback, but not let fear not get what I want. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Victor, for those reflections.
Hmm.
Yep. Victor, for this would be, this is a thought for you to entertain. Maybe for 3 years, you need to still have the chess and the education side and the academy, all those goals in view. But maybe for 3 years, your responsibility is to become the very best in programming that you've ever known. Because Victor, right now you can move to any country and work there. You can move to the US, you can move to Australia, you can even work in Kenya, but you're working for international companies on contract, not even full time. If you distinguish yourself, the opportunities in software engineering are endless. Maybe you're so this is what that kind of aspiration will do, that it would force you to be more consistent, more disciplined, but it will give you the highest possible skill. And the more specialized your skill becomes, the more distinct your skill becomes, the more you earn with less time input in that area. It's the opportunities in software engineering are unlimited. One of my friends from Kenya just moved to Seattle, Washington, to work in Microsoft. And I could tell the pathway he had followed. So when we started working together with him, early 2016, I knew how sharp he is. And then I kept hammering on him. This is way below you. This is way below you. You can do a lot better. Then I remember the day he said, Mogire, I'm done. Don't tell me anything else. Come look at me in 1 year. He went ahead and started just picking off programs like this, did all those Microsoft certifications, did Python. He mastered Python, at least learned the basics of Python within a month, to the point where he started now churning apps, like doing apps. And to the point where he stopped working for his employer and started doing work online for people on Upwork. He just moved to the US to work with Microsoft. And I don't think him moving to the US is the main story. The main story is he took over his life. Tim was no longer available for weekends, except if you had already agreed in advance. You knew that Tim would be down working on his software skills from he wakes up around 5-ish, he'll be at work on a weekend, on a Saturday when he's not going to his employer. He'll be at his work until 3 or 3:30. So if you want to meet Tim, if you want him to come to a wedding or whatever, that wedding must be scheduled like 3 months ahead. Otherwise, he'll send his gift, he will not come. And it changed everything. Right now, he is working around setting up his own institution online to do coaching on software, to teach people, what he can. But the first place he did, he proved to himself that he is worth. So his self-esteem transformed totally, and he started being the person that I saw in him. And that's what could happen, and that's for all of us. That skill that you are involved in and you are doing every day, if there is a spiritual gift in your life, it is that skill. If there is honoring God, it is that skill. You becoming the very best in that skill, because it's going to require discipline. It's going to require consistency. It's going to require such a high level of efficiency in terms of how you utilize your time, right? It's going to take you beyond preparing, beyond creating the timeline, beyond wishing and dreaming, to actually doing it, so that every day you can measure what you have done in that area. And I'm just using Victor as an example, but this is for all of us. That skill, nothing is going to raise your self-esteem and your respect and your fulfillment with every day like you showing up and doing your utmost best. You get into that bed saying, my goodness, today I kicked ball. Today I did it. The day is done. You are like, give me, where do I sign out? You're literally, you put that signature there and you sleep and you're like, yes. Today, and whenever I have had that kind of day, I am like, that group of patients I had today, yes. If I missed anything else, it's not because I didn't want, because it just happened. That's the challenge that you and I have, especially when you are as young as you are right now. A time is coming, Victor, when you wake up one day and say, I need to build that chess academy. And you will go to a piece of land and you say, so how much is this land? Oh, okay, so I'm only able to give you a 20 million down payment. I will pay the rest over the next couple of months. And you actually build that academy. The time is coming when you can do these other things really, really easily. Have them as goals, but don't have them that high. Your skill. If you wanted to hire the best software engineer and you're looking around and you start shortlisting people, would you be on that list? Would you be among the people that it's not somebody else shortlisting, it is you? In 3 years from today, if you wanted to hire the very best in a certain area, if you decide, for example, maybe to focus on mobile apps, if you're hiring the best, would you be even on the running for being the best? As long as you're not on the running, it means you have not positioned yourself to treat yourself with as much respect as you can. Here is an example for everyone, right? I call you today and tell you that tomorrow Former President of the US, Barack Obama, is coming to spend an hour in your house. Former President Barack Obama is coming to spend an hour in your house. No, he's coming to spend a night in your house. So he will have dinner, he will sleep in your house, and then he will shower in the morning and then leave. What will you change in your house? What, so the thing is, what are, and this is not an intellectual question, this is an emotional question. When you hear that he is coming, like literally, oh, hey James, just like we had told you last month, we wanted Barack Obama to come and visit you. He's available, he'll be in Nairobi, and he would like to come and have dinner in your house and sleep in your where you live, and he will be out the following morning. That is the gap that you and I have to be aware of every day. If I'm living in an environment that I would be uncomfortable having somebody I deem dignified to come into, that I have to move things around, I am treating myself with less respect than I am willing to give other people. In other words, I am the first problem in my life. I am taking this divine peace, this divine magnificent creation of God, and treating it less than I am willing to treat other people. I'm willing to give people more respect, give people more dignity, give people more comfort than I am giving myself. And I am treating myself like that physically by my physical environment, but also intellectually, also emotionally, and even spiritually. That's the challenge we have. And this goes to everyone. How do you become the very best? How do you rise to the top of the list of people you would hire to do the skill that you are currently doing? That is breakthrough. Breaking beyond where you've been, the space where you've been, breaking to the very top. Because you will respect yourself. It will make all the other goals easier because you've pushed yourself to become the best in your skill with discipline, consistency, self-awareness, and you are giving yourself a platform from where you have more choice, more freedom, more power. Take the next step that you need to take. So Victor, thank you for stimulating that conversation. And now let's hear from James. James, did you write your goals today? Did anything new come up? What is your reflection about today's subject?
Okay. I'll start by sharing about yesterday. I got to listen into the conversation you guys had, and it was quite interesting. I've been writing my goals every single day in the morning, and even though I wasn't able to give my feedback yesterday, I had still written them down. Nothing new had come up as of yesterday, but I remember yesterday getting home at around 6, and what I did was that I sat down, and I think for the next 2 to 3.5 hours, I was just seated on my computer, and I was typing everything out. I started by typing my my top 5 10-year goals. I wrote them, and then I wrote my top 10 1-year goals after and I got to link them to the 10-year goal that I'm pursuing. For example, if it was my goal to pass my exams, what goal, which one of my 10-year goals is that helping me edge towards? Which one of the things I'm going to be doing for the next 1 year, what goal are they helping me edge towards when it comes to where I want to be in 10 years? So I went down further, broke the 1 year, broke the 1 year goals down to what I was doing each and every day in furtherance of my top 10 1-year goals. And I came up with a list of things that I had begun to do every day. And it has really affected how I have written my goals this morning. For example, when I was writing my goal to pass my exams, I thought that I could, apart from studying, I could share with the students that we have classes in common with. I could go to Photoshop. I could really create something quickly, and I could share with them some nuggets here and there. And I was really seeing how that could help me achieve both studying, making sure I'm studying, and I'm rewarding myself by creating something possibly educative but humorous. And it could really help me to develop my skills in Photoshop. When I was thinking this morning, my mind is at work because I'm writing them every day. I think my mind is on a full-time job to figure out how I'm going to achieve each and every one of them. Because when I was writing on the goal of appreciating by surprise the people that I care about, I think I asked my mind this question: how am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? And I think it must have been playing tricks on me in the morning, because it told me, you know what, you could go get a baby. I mean, who would not be surprised by that? Could have a child, but I think it was just messing with me in the morning. But it is on a full-time job figuring out how I'm going to achieve these goals, and I think it's a really good thing. It goes a long way to create the energy I need to be consistent. About today's topic, mhm, I have really resonated with things, uh, choices we make that follow the path of least resistance. Especially, I have seen such trends with my workouts, with extra academic hours. I'm supposed to put in an extra hour, but I don't. I know I should, because I had set aside content that I would cover during that time, but I still don't. I know what will happen. I'll be behind my own schedule, but I still don't do what I need to do. For the other two, out of fear, the choice of the familiar, well, I will give myself time, because what I noted even with the 4Cs, I thought I was clear and clean from those, but as days passed, I began to see them. They were now in my mind, and I began to see them being reflected in my environment. And it became so clear for me to identify them and to start dealing with them. So I'll give myself time with the choices we make out of fear, and the choices of the familiar or the comfortable. I'll give myself time, and I'm sure within no time I'll be seeing them if they are there. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very substantive reflection. I won't even add anything else, James. Thank you. That's a very substantive reflection. Elena, did you write your goals today? Did anything new come up? What's your reflection about today's session?
Yes, I did write my goals today. After yesterday's conversation, I added a few. So, and I've also refined some of the ones that I had started with, in terms of career, because economics is very, very important because it creates a ripple effect in all the other goals that one may have. So, what I'm comfortable sharing right now is that I would like to be fluent in Italian and French by the end of the year. Then the other thing is that with the missing link in my goals previously written, I'd like to cultivate healthy relationships, friendships, and dating, reinforcing boundaries in all around. And also finding my voice, exercising my agency, and being more straightforward about my needs without being afraid to ruffle feathers. An issue not is a crisis waiting to happen. In relation to today's discussion, that is, I came in the middle section of your how you started, but what resounded most to me is this last bit about choosing the comfortable, because I've been in that place for quite a while in terms of my career, in terms of my progress with my master's. Part of the reason why I've taken so long to present my thesis is because it's relatively new to me, and for lack of better words, I'm scared of the unknown. So I may have support all around me, but still there are those subconscious beliefs that you really have to work against. And yeah, that's why it's part of my goals. So that may have been my motivation in the past, but things have been changing consistently. Even in terms of my current job right now, I feel that it is just an activity, but it's not adding value to where I would want to be. So gradually, I have been making changes in terms of getting coaching, in terms of career, and just driving my career towards the direction of where I envision it to be. Yeah. What Judith said resounds to me, and also what Victor says resounds to my current situation right now. So everybody sharing, you get to see a bit of what you're going through, and it's a relief that other people are also sharing the same experience.
Thank you, Elena. That's really nice. And yes, economic goals for every one of us. Your skill and economic goals will require you the most out of you, and they will have the biggest ripple effect on all the other areas of your life. So for Elena, learning 2 languages in 12 months is doable, but it's going to stretch you. So you have to be ready to be stretched. For example, my strongest recommendation is to focus on one of the languages first and reach a certain level of proficiency, go beyond the basics before you start the other. And the hardest part that people struggle with is learning the vocabulary. That's a goal that you can make very practical. Decide how many new words in this language you will learn, how frequently, so that by the end of most languages, if you know 1,000 words of the vocabulary of that language, you should be able to understand everything else, like to learn the rest of it really easy. So I believe personally that for anybody who is past college, one of the most powerful goals, one of the most powerful things you can do is to learn a new language, because learning a new language essentially opens a new world for you. And there's nothing as fulfilling as learning a new language and then walking into an environment where people are speaking that language. So for example, myself, based on Brainy's inspiration, I would like to learn a little more of Chinese so that I can go beyond Ching Chong, which is the only vocabulary. Yes, but
I think
Mhm.
it's ni hao. At least you know how to say hi. Ni hao.
No, but ni hao is Swahili ni hao. I'm just teasing you. Let's hear from Peter. Peter, did you write your goals today? Did any new goal come up? What's your reflection about today's session?
Thanks, Job. I started writing my goals, and I'm still developing them, but mainly picking up on the lessons from yesterday and today. And I realized that by writing my goals first thing in the morning, it makes me reflect more on them and start chunking them down into smaller pieces and really reflecting more on what I want to achieve. I especially focused on the suggestion you did about the convergence of the skill sets and the financial goal. And I'm developing a plan on how to invest more time into that. And I've been thinking about doing some financial management sessions for individuals, for small organizations. And I think I want to dedicate more time into that. Then I also downloaded an app to monitor my phone usage and the internet usage, just to give me an idea of how I'm spending the day, and how I need to reorganize my time. Yes, I'm here to develop the 10-year goals. I think I'll be sharing that as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter, and welcome once again to the Breakthrough Challenge. Today is day 22. Guys, we have 8 more days to clock 30 days. From 30 days onwards, from 1st of November, I'm going to change the format. We will still maintain these meetings, but I may want to leave some of those meetings for you guys to just meet together and discuss what's going on in your life in terms of what you're learning, what you're picking, and then I will figure out when we will have specific sessions. I will start doing some daily, even if it's short, maybe 15, 20 minutes videos on the House of Mastery Facebook page. And some of the content sometimes might move there so that then what remains in this group is mostly the discussion of the practical. If we are not implementing, we are just watching a soap opera, which we will walk away and forget. If knowledge was all that was required for us to succeed in life and be happy in life, the happiest people in this world would be university professors. But they are not necessarily. So it has to go beyond knowledge. My challenge today for you is find time to keep reflecting on your goals. Watch yourself for the 4 C's: complaining, criticizing, comparing, and competing. Watch yourself where you are taking the path of least resistance, where you are making choices out of fear, where you are choosing what's comfortable instead of what you want and where you want to go. Remember, your days towards from now until you turn 65 are ticking. And by 65, if you haven't accomplished what you wanted to accomplish when you are the age you are right now, please ask for a resignation and write in your resignation letter and say, now my life, I'm ready to settle for whatever comes. But I hope that by doing what we are doing now, we keep moving. We are spending an hour every day. In 90 days, that will be 90 hours. That will be an equivalent of a bachelor's degree. I hope that there will be enough evidence in your life that is almost equivalent to a bachelor's degree in terms of what you've learned and how you have moved. That will be it. Thank you for joining the Breakthrough Challenge today. My name is Dr. Mogire from the House of Mastery, and see you tomorrow.